He realized that to capture a truth, a real truth that would haunt the world forever, you couldn't use a green screen. No, you had to be the person, the one person, willing to drag a 300-ton ship over a mountain until the mud and the blood made the image undeniable. This is the core of what we're diving into today. It's called the Herzog Rule.
And look, this isn't just some crazy filmmaking story. It's a whole philosophy for life, a really radical one. It basically argues that your willingness to put yourself through hell, to endure physical hardship, is actually your greatest creative weapon. It's about throwing out the fake stuff, the simulations, and choosing what's raw, what's real, and yeah, often, what's painful. So you have to be asking yourself, where does a philosophy this extreme even come from? Well, it was born in the heat and the mud of the Amazon jungle, during a film shoot that went down in history for being just absolutely punishingly difficult. This right here, this is the defining moment. Okay, so picture this. It's the Amazon jungle, 1981. The money's gone. The actors, they're quitting left and right. Any sane person would pack up and go home, right? But not Werner Herzog. He just kept pulling the rope. See, he wasn't there for a movie-making vacation. He was hunting for something he called intensity. He made a conscious, deliberate choice to turn suffering into a weapon, to use all that pain to create something that was undeniably real. And right there, in that moment, the Herzog Rule was born. And let's be clear, this isn't just about being tough or grinding it out. No, it's a systematic belief. The idea is that physical commitment, it's not just some unfortunate side effect of a hard project. It's the main event. It's a strategic, almost lethal creative weapon. The struggle itself becomes the tool you use to carve out the truth. And in that crisis, Herzog had this massive realization about power. He figured out that real authority, real control, it doesn't come from a studio contract or a fat budget. It's something internal. It's about the disciplined control you have over your own resolve. The person who's willing to suffer the most, that's the person who's really in charge. But, and this is key, this mindset didn't just pop up in the jungle. Oh no. Its roots go way, way deeper. All right, so to really get the guy who would pull a ship over a mountain, we gotta rewind. We need to go back to the world that made him, post-war Bavaria. This is where he built this fortress inside his own mind, completely on the outside of everything. Just look at this timeline. This is a life practically forged in isolation. I mean, he grew up in a village completely destroyed by the war. He didn't even make a phone call until he was 17. Think about that. That kind of isolation creates what the source calls an analytical hunger. So when he wanted to start his career, did he go to film school? Nope, he stole a camera. He needed money for his films. He worked night shifts in a steel factory. Every single step was a masterclass in self-reliance. And this really gets to the heart of the conflict that shaped him. On one side, you have what he saw as the lie of the modern world. You know, comfort, tradition, safety. But Herzog, he saw right through all of that. For him, reality, the real stuff, was found in raw experience, in facing the unknown head-on. That isolated village he grew up in, it wasn't a prison, it was a forge. It's where he built the mindset of an explorer. So during these early years when nobody knew who he was, the no recognition phase, he wasn't just sitting around waiting for his big break. Not at all. He was actively training himself. He was systematically, deliberately unlearning the habit of seeking permission. And in all that isolation, instead of letting the world break him, he built this internal fortress, a mindset of pure guerrilla logic. And get this is one of the most powerful examples of his philosophy in action, and it happened before the jungle. He decides to walk 500 miles in the middle of winter just to visit a mentor in Paris. Now, this wasn't some publicity stunt. It was a physical test of everything he believed in. He had no professional safety net, nothing. He was proving to himself that when you're chasing something that truly matters, your own endurance is the only currency you have. It's the one thing that can't lie. So you take all of this, the steel factory, that insane 500-mile walk, and it all leads to this core idea he developed called Kinetic Mastery. It's this permanent truth he uncovered, that physical action and endurance, that's the foundation of all creative power. It's not about what you think, it's not about what you say, it's about what you physically do. Okay, so out of all that friction, all those early struggles, a really clear philosophy starts to take shape. It's a philosophy built on intensity, and this core belief that truth, well, you don't find it in a library. You find it on your own 2 feet. I mean, this quote right here says it all. It perfectly captures his entire way of thinking. It's a total rejection of the artist who just sits back and observes. Herzog's point is, you can't understand the world from a distance. You have to dive in. You have to immerse yourself, feel its textures, and yeah, endure its challenges. The truth only shows itself when you put in the effort of the journey. And this brings us to his first big idea, something he calls ecstatic truth. Now, this is not a journalist's truth. It's not what he calls the accountant's truth of just listing facts. No, this is a deeper, more poetic truth. It's the kind you feel in your gut, in your bones. And the only way to get there is by going beyond the facts, through imagination, invention, and, you guessed it, intense physical experience.
His second big concept, radical intensity. And this is important. It's not about being chaotic or reckless. It's a strategy. It's a calculated choice to stay in what he calls the abyss, the absolute hardest part of a challenge, long after anyone else would have thrown in the towel. You stay in that pressure cooker until an undeniable truth just emerges. And the third pillar, the one that ties it all together, is physical commitment. This is the disciplined belief that there's a direct line between the quality of your work and the amount of suffering you are willing to go through for it. Simple as that. For Herzog, if you're not willing to suffer for your art, you're just not serious.
So think about it. When you put all 3 of those together, ecstatic truth, radical intensity, and physical commitment, the whole idea of a film set gets turned on its head. It's not a place for playing make-believe and acting anymore. It becomes a high-stakes laboratory, a place where you run real experiments to uncover the truth with a capital T.
Okay, so we get the philosophy, right? But how did he actually live it? That's the next part. He didn't just talk about these big ideas. He turned them into a daily practice, a full-on operating system made of repeatable habits that led him straight to mastery. He calls it the Rogue Protocol. It's his 3-step system for staying in control of his work, for maintaining creative sovereignty. Step 1, reject the standard path. He's famous for refusing to get permits because he thinks they just sanitize everything. Step 2, force the reaction. He'll literally steal shots in public to capture something authentic, something with a raw clarity you can't fake. And step 3, master the details. His whole guerrilla execution style is all about cutting through the industry noise and focusing only on what's absolutely essential. And there's more to his daily system. He has what's called the Walking Audit, a routine of taking these really long walks to keep his mind independent and clear. Then there's the penance model, which is his habit of always choosing the harder path, like dragging a real ship over a mountain, to force the work to be authentic. And all of it, is built on what he calls foundational endurance, this rhythmic, consistent habit of taking on physical challenges just to keep his resolve razor sharp. You see, at the end of the day, he was just playing a totally different game than everyone else. His scoreboard didn't have money or fame on it. While the rest of the industry was chasing one thing, he was on a completely different quest, the search for ecstatic truth. And that singular, obsessive focus is exactly why his work is still so powerful and so unique today. And the payoff for all that rootless commitment, it was huge. We're not just talking about a successful career here. Werner Herzog fundamentally redefined what a director could even be. He basically became the architect of a whole new conscience for how we tell stories. He really did start a revolution. I mean, the old myth was that art is just decoration, and the director is this passive observer who needs a safety net. The Herzog Rule just shattered that idea. It came along and declared, no, art is raw, unvarnished experience. The director is an active participant. And real success, it demands a radical, go-all-in kind of commitment. And that idea that choosing to suffer for your vision is actually a structural weapon, that is his ultimate legacy. He proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that the most intense personal struggle could create the most important and lasting work of a generation. He took what everyone else saw as a weakness, like not having enough money, and he turned it into his greatest strength. So in the end, he just completely demolished the whole idea of the safe artist. He proved the incredible breakthrough power of just being brutally honest about what it really takes to create something that matters. And you know what? That's where this story stops being just about him, and it starts being about you and me. Because Herzog's journey, it's not just some fascinating story to listen to. It's a practical guide. It's a roadmap for anyone out there who feels kind of limited by the ease and comfort of their own life. It's about taking his philosophy and figuring out how to translate it into your world. So I want you to really ask yourself this question. What is your ship? What is your Fitzcarraldo ship? What is that monumental, difficult, but deeply meaningful task in your own life? Maybe in your career, in your relationships, in your own personal growth that you've been avoiding, the one you've been kind of faking or simulating just because you're afraid of the struggle. The lesson here from Herzog is just this incredibly powerful call to action. Stop theorizing about it. Stop waiting for someone to give you permission. Stop guessing what you might be capable of. Just start doing the hard thing. Commit to the physical act, because when you raise your level of commitment like that, you stop being a victim of comfort and you start becoming the master of your own ecstatic truth.
So, just remember this. The truth that you're looking for, it's not waiting for you at the finish line. It's embedded in the struggle itself. Your endurance, your willingness to just keep pulling that rope when every part of you wants to quit, that's the code. That is the key that unlocks your greatness.